Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl Austin, and what an honor it is to have the opportunity to speak with you today. And actually, Lane, I said I wanted you to read that thing on love because I'm talking about the law. But I wanted to read a quote from the Science of Mind textbook. You notice mine has a fancy schmancy cover. This was given to me by a friend in Dallas. This sentence: love points the way, and the law makes it possible. That's why we have to look at both love and the law. And I don't know how you do it, Lane, because as I was preparing for my talk, I was thinking, you know what I'd really like to do? I'd just like to read to you from this book. Because this book, it changed my life. It has the power within it to change your life. And so it would just be easy to read it to you, right? Except it's okay, a little long. And we all know that Ernest Holmes does get a little repetitive, but it's because he makes a point, and then he goes back and makes it again and gives it to us in new and different ways. And that's good. I want to start today by introducing someone. Thank you, Lord, for that. Your beautiful words. Thank you. That was so kind this morning for all of us. And there are so many people that I love dearly in this community. But there's one person here today who has been my best friend and my companion for the last 43 years. And that's my son, Ernest. Kids are amazing, but I've learned through the years that most of the time that you spend with them, they're going to be adults. Not that they lose any of that amazing quality. It just changes. Like the song, it changes, right? And I'm getting older. Vicki? No. I thought of that too with that song, you know, I'm getting older. But there's something that comes along with that sometimes, right? Sometimes we think, you know what, I'm too old. I'm too old. It's too old. I don't have, what am I going to do now at this point in my life? Maybe I've missed the boat. Maybe it's sailed and I've missed the boat. But you don't have to be old to think that, right? Some of us have thought that many times during our lifetime. What am I going to do? Because nothing is going my way. You ever felt that? You ever been in that spot? I'm not the only one, right? All right. Well, today I'm going to talk about the power we have in every moment. Every moment. Within ourselves, to take charge of our lives, to live a life of choice. The world is not acting upon us. Sure, it throws things at us. We all know that. We've been there sometimes going down this path and wham, things blow up, but it's how we respond to that. It's what we do with it. It's the choices we make in life. So I want to start by saying there is a power in this universe and we can use it. And in fact, we do use it. We use it all the time. And I'm going to be talking about that in just a few moments. But first, I want to start out with a quote from Ernest Holmes. The realization that good is universal and that as much good as any individual is able to incorporate into his or her life is theirs to use. Pay attention to that. It's theirs to use. This is what constitutes the science of mind and spirit. There is one life back of everything that lives. there is one energy back of all that is energized. This energy is in everything. There is one spirit back of all expression. The life which we live is the universal life expressing through us. Else, how could we live? It is a fact. It is a universal truth. So I thought, let's start simple in this discussion. So I'm going to talk about the universe. Easy, simple topic. So for centuries, humans have looked to the heavens, right? They've studied the stars. They've tried to figure out. They based their gods on the stars, and they've looked for guidance from the stars because we've been fascinated by that which we don't really understand, and it's got to have meaning. And then there's researchers and mathematicians who have studied all kinds of things about the earth and about the heavens and about the cosmos, and they have taught us things through the centuries, through the decades. And one of the things that science is now starting to say is, you know what? There seems to be a grand intelligence around all of us. See, science and spirit are coming together in our lifetime. Think of all the centuries of people who have existed, where they were taught no connection between science and this fluffy stuff called spirit. Now it's changing. And science is starting to say, yeah, well, there seems to be an intelligence in the universe that is behind and part of everything. I'm sure some of those sages from centuries gone by would love to say, yeah, that's what we were saying all along. But truly, scientific study uncovers truths that already exist, right? Scientists tell us, for example, that the potential for electricity has always been, always. It wasn't like, I don't even know if these things are true, but it's really not like Benjamin Franklin was flying a kite and all of a sudden, whoo, wow, the potential for electricity is now here. It happened with that little spark of intelligence, right? I'm reminded of the teaching by the master teacher, Jesus. And I think this is what he was saying over 2,000 years ago when he said, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you, because nothing in the universe is hidden from you. It will all be revealed. All you have to do is go out and look for it, ask for it, seek it, and it's going to be revealed to you. So scientists over the last centuries since then have begun turning up more and more and showing us what these laws are. But you know what the truth is? Those laws remain primarily intangible, right? We know them because of the results. We don't necessarily know them because we see them. We see the results of electricity. We don't. Oh, there's electricity. There's gravity. We don't. So my belief in these scientific laws, if what really matters is the results, then my belief in the laws don't really matter. right? They don't come into play. I can say, you know, I don't believe in electricity. People will be like, okay. People may say it, but anyway, but not because of my lack of belief in electricity. It's the same with the spiritual laws, right? My lack of belief in them does not mean they aren't real. They are very real. They began at the very same time as that little spark of intelligence. It's revealed as we seek them. It's answered as we ask. And we are at choice. There are laws and principles at work in the universe, and we can use them. It is absolutely true, scientifically and spiritually. And ignorance of those laws does not change the fact that they work, that they exist, and that they are at work in our lives. Some laws we've harnessed, some laws we haven't. There are things out there, right, that we don't know anything about, that science doesn't know, but they keep looking for it. And if they look, they're going to find it. And I think quantum physics is even beginning to show that they're going to find exactly what they're looking for, which makes it kind of scary. But that's okay. That's for another time, another talk. But throughout history, we seem to have kind of gotten settled on this thing of, well, you know, if I have physical evidence, if I have hardcore physical evidence, if I can see it at work, and absolutely, no, if you can explain it to me, right, then I'm going to believe it. So I found a little example. It's a scientific description of a law we use all the time. And this should help. Every point mass attracts every other point mass by force acting along the line of intersecting the 2 points. The force is proportional to the product of the 2 masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them.
Piece of cake.
Now you understand gravity, right? Now, here's one of those things that it's like, last night I read that to Aaron. I said, listen, how does this sound? And I read that to him and he said, oh, that's great, that sounds like gravity. See, the reason I introduced him so lovingly is because most of what I'm going to say about him doesn't come out that way, but I do love and cherish that. No, we believe in gravity because at a very young age we realize, kaboom, if I fall, I am not going to float to the ground. It's going to suck me right to it. And I happen to know that this summer, a number of us practiced that. I know Reverend Lane took a little tumble onto the ground, proving gravity still works. Fran took a little tumble into the kitchen, proving it works. Barley. You know, even at this age, that kind of gravity, that still works. And I myself took the little flying leap into the Florida room and proved that, yeah, it still works, it still hurts. And that's how we understand gravity, right? And again, ignorance of that law doesn't have one impact on the results. It's not an excuse. It affects us. Understanding the law of conductivity is another one. You see, I one time had a crazy dog. He was a sweet dog to us, but he was insane when it came to dealing with anyone or anything else. And he was determined that he was going to rip out the boards in our backyard fence and go kill the annoying little dachshunds that lived next door and barked at him all the time. Well, that doesn't make for good neighbors, so we talked to the trainer and he said, install a little electric fence, just a low volt electric fence. So we had that installed. And it is a little, you know, they told me you have to touch it so you know what. Ow, ow, I don't have to do that. It's okay. I trust you. But I did. I touched. Ooh, little shock. Doesn't feel good. Even a low volt little fence like that. And it kept him pretty much from ripping the boards out to get at those dachshunds. But there was this storm one time. And lo and behold, branches were falling, ooh, all kinds of chaos in the backyard. And I thought to myself, I think it might have broken that electric fence. I'm going to go out and check. So I went out. This is when Aaron was young. He was, what, about 10 or 11? Something like that. And I went out and, you know what I'm, right? You've been here. Oh, I don't hear. No, it isn't working. Okay. The current is broken somewhere. And I looked over and I saw, the ground wire. The ground wire is like dipping down with a branch on it. So I threw the branch off, straightened the ground wire a little bit, and then I grabbed the ground wire. And so I asked Aaron, when thinking about this, I said, why did that ground wire, taking hold of that, why did it shock the crap out of me? And he said, no, Mom, no. You grabbed both. You were holding the ground wire and you reached over and touched the fence again. And when you did that, you proved the law of conductivity. You were the conduit. He said, remember how it kind of... Yes, indeed, I remember that. So ignorance of the law. I knew nothing about the law of conductivity, even when I was talking to him the other day. I mean, I don't know, why did that hot wire shock me? Oh, Mom. So sad. But often we want that same kind of factual evidence about spiritual laws, don't we? Prove it to me. Show me. I'm going to talk to you right now about how you're proving it to yourself all the time. You just may not know it. Ernest Holmes says there is a divine principle, and what it does for us, it must do through us. So, amazingly, spiritual laws are closer to us than any other law. The laws that are working in nature are outside of us. The spiritual laws work in us, as us, through us. So how is this so? For we are dealing with the law of cause and effect. We're not depending upon chance, but upon the law. The responsibility of setting the law in motion is ours, but the responsibility of making it work is inherent in its own nature. just like the law of conductivity. It's in the nature of the thing. It's in the nature of the law. I have to set it in motion, but then the law takes over. The impact of this on our lives is far more incredible than some of us have ever considered. I don't create the law when I use it. It has its own inherent nature. Holmes says we live in the law of mind, and it can return to us only what we think into it. So now, going back to the beginning. My ship has sailed and I missed it. I'm too old. I can't do it. Things just don't come to me. We choose the way we think. That is the freedom that we have been given. We have, in every moment, the ability to choose the direction of our life. We have the ability to choose our reaction to circumstances in our lives. And we can use the law, the power within ourselves to achieve virtually anything we desire. What if we say, I live a life of financial freedom? And then we turn around and say, if only that were true. You know what that does to the law? But want the light on? Off. I'm not getting it. I live a life of financial freedom, but maybe I don't. And the law is like, okay, okay. We'll leave it off. We'll leave the light off. We have the right to choose and to set it into motion. But I'll bet a lot of us have thoughts like these. I just can't save money. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Money just comes and goes. I can't save it. I can't make close friends. I don't know what it is. There's something about me people don't like. One of my all-time favorites. I'm fat, and I can't lose weight. Okay. You know what the universe says when we put messages like this out there? Okay, yeah, alrighty. All right, then don't worry about it. Quit saying it, because I got it. You don't want to lose weight? All right, that's great. But God has given us a power within, and we must use it for good in our lives. Good. Holmes says that God is always ready to pour into our experience everything we need. Always ready. And it is God's good will to express and experience life to the fullest through each and every one of us. There is not a tree out there that God says, well, you know, that one I want to grow as. This one I don't want to grow as. No. God wants to grow as all the trees, all the flowers. Some have easier circumstances than others, but they all grow. These things we should expect the best. We should always expect the best. And those are the words we need to tell ourselves, because our thinking sets that law in motion. Always. All the power of the universe is with us. In fact, we are one with the very mind of universal mind. We are one with the energy that is the energy behind all things and that exists in all things. We are one with it. It fills us, and we have the right and the direction to use it. We need to refuse negative thinking. We need to turn our back on those moments when we are saying to ourselves, it can't be done. No. I am not going to listen to that. I am not going to talk about that. I'm not going to believe that. The universe is on my side. All things are possible. Holmes says we're depending on the principle of life itself. All we have to do is engage and to know that it is within our power to expand our consciousness. Because sometimes we can say, okay, I can believe that much, right? All of us have used this power. Think about it. Surely there has been a time in your life when you have said to yourself, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to climb that mountain. Maybe you've never climbed mountains before. It might take a little preparation before you actually set off on climbing it. Maybe it was a wedding that you planned. And even though 1,500 things seem to have gone wrong in the process of getting there, that wedding took place on that day. Why? Because you set the law in motion, and the universe conspired with you to make it happen, bring it about. So we have used it. We've used it in small things, maybe even smaller things. A piece of art you wanted to create, a coat you wanted to purchase, a gift you wanted to receive. But you put it out there in the universe. The intention is out there. And then the law takes over. The law conspires and works with you to make it happen. That is the promise. That is the universal spiritual law we all have working for us. So why not go for the financial freedom? Why not go for the, let me put it out there, this huge and magnificent thing is going to happen. Let's go for it. Let's believe that. One time, Fran and I were standing on the beach. We were young and poor, scraping by, and we were standing on this beach because we went to a friend's house out on Fire Island. Don't know if you know Long Island, and we were standing out there on this beach and looking at the sunset and the waves, and I thought, this is everything I want. So I said, Fran, next summer we're going to have a summer house here. And she, being a little more practical, is like, yeah, okay. How are we going to do that? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just believe it. And so pretty soon we started talking about it, and she's like, okay, I believe it. And so together, this was years before I knew anything about science of mind. Together we said, next summer we're going to do this. And we just cast that out across the ocean. 3 months later, I was asked to do a commercial for the company that I worked with. And it was a national network commercial. So I had to go to Hollywood, It was painful. I had to ride in a Mercedes-Benz limousine and stay at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. It was tough. And I had to make a 60-second commercial. And for that, I did it because I was honored to do it. I was honored to be selected, right? It was like, oh my gosh, yes. And then about 3 or 4 months after I did that 60-second commercial and a day of photo shoot, they sent me a check for half my annual income working for the stinking company. Half my income. Guess what we did? That summer. Yeah. We had that summer. We have to put the big things out there. We have to believe in our ability to make those things happen because the law is on our side. It is working with us. It doesn't always happen in some time frame that we think it must happen in. It doesn't always happen like, oh, gee, I want to do this and I'm going there and I'm doing it. Sometimes it does. But I'm reminded, in closing, of a time my mother came to visit us in New York. We used to bring her to see us and spend some weeks with us because she lived in California, where I'd grown up, born and raised. And we brought her this one time, and it was really cold. It was December. And we were all bundled up and Fran and I decided we're going to take her to see Rockefeller Center, the Christmas tree, and the ice skaters below. And if you've never been there, it's phenomenal. If you have been there, you know it's phenomenal. It's beautiful. And we, of course, being familiar with New York City, wanted to get a free parking space, which meant we had to go down Fifth Avenue and around park. Anyway, so we were walking with my mother. And Fran and I were walking a little faster than my mom. I think back on it, I think she was about 74, something like that. So at one point she says, could we just slow down for a minute? Because it's cold, you know, you're breathing all that ice cold air, and she was arthritis, and we're just stomping along. She said, can we slow down? And so we said, sure. We just paused there for a minute. And then all of a sudden, she's looking around. And I'm like, walked her a little too hard. Because she was just like, and she said, you know, when I was a little girl, I said to my mother, Mama, one day I'm going to be in New York City. And she said, my mama grabbed hold of me and said, you are nothing but a little oaky farm girl. And that is all you're ever going to be. So get your head out of the clouds. And my mom said, well, look, here I am. She said, I just didn't know I was going to have to wait for my baby to grow up and before I'd finally get to see New York City. Her own mother told her it was impossible. At a vulnerable age, you're never going to go there. She had moved to the other side of the country. California's a great place. It's not New York City, though. But it made it even more challenging, right, to consider going to New York City. And it wasn't important to her life that she go to New York City. It was important to her soul. And the universe did not let go of that little girl's attention. It may have taken 65 years, but she got to New York City. And I believe that's the promise God makes to all of us. Don't let those dreams go. Keep that intention out there. Believe in it. Let go of the negative thoughts, the negative thinking, the talk that comes your way, the circumstances that say it can't be done, because it will be. I promise. It will be done. It came true for my mother, and it absolutely will come true for you.